I'm here today to try to give you education on how you can prevent this from happening. I do not want this to happen to anyone. Hi everyone, you are tuning in to Maternal and Fetal Education with your girl Jazz. Oops, that's me. Alright, so a disclaimer, just like my other video, I do not want to trigger anyone. I do not want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. And remember, we're going to respect everybody and we're going to respect ourselves. That's first and foremost. So let's get into the video. This video today is going to be about SIDS or SUID. Okay, the National Association of Medical Examiners prefers to use the term or SUID. I don't even know if you even can say that. Yeah, because like the I and the U, suit. Anyway, let's get into the definition. So the SUID refers to an infant death that occurs unexpectedly before the first year of life. Okay, so this does not refer to toddlers and ages above. This literally refers to day 1 to 12 months. Okay, so that is just the base terminology of what SUID refers to. So I have a little bit of statistics for you. Around 3,500 to 3,400 infants die a year unexpectedly under the age of 1. This is a lot of infants, and I'm here today to try to give you education on how you can prevent this from happening. I do not want this to happen to anyone. Most people are not familiar with this because it is not a well-known topic, but within the hospital setting, we do educate patients on how to prevent this type of death, also how we can better support each other to prevent this type of death. The hardest part about SUID is the fact that it's unknown. We do not know what exactly is causing. All we can do is look at the statistics that are affecting the numbers. Okay, so the interventions that we use to affect the numbers. Some of these interventions I'm going to list today. I want you to pay attention. Let me know in the comments if you have other things that you use when you were rearing your children and or you've heard other people talk about. Okay, leave those in the comment below. Whoever is texting my phone better stop. Okay. According to the CDC, in 2022, there were about 1,389 deaths due to SUID. 1,062 of those deaths were due to unknown causes, and about 905 deaths were due to accidental suffocation or strangulation. Trigger warning. I am apologizing. Please do not scold anyone, okay? Please do not insult anyone. These are unexpected deaths. These are not intentional deaths. Okay, so let's clarify that and kind of come into the conversation with a little bit of guidance and common sense. All right, some of the things you can do to lower the risk of SUID includes the following. Sleep alone. Please do not sleep with the baby in the bed. Unfortunately, I know some parents feel they are the best protector for the infant, or the infant sleeps best with the parent. Twofold, okay? One, that is sleep training them. You're sleep training them to need a adult to sleep with them constantly. That's not ideal in the long run. Eventually, this child should sleep in their own bed. Also, two, you are not in control of whether you roll over or whether the baby turns over, whether, you know, for some reason the sheet gets pulled up above the baby's head. It is just a bad idea altogether. Now, I understand that not everyone has a safe sleeping environment. There are programs now that will give you a safe sleeping environment for the infant. I will include some of those resources. Also, the articles that I am talking about, I will include the links below so that you can see the information for yourself and read up on it. But there are resources for parents that do not have a safe space for their infant to sleep in. It is okay if you do not want the infant to sleep completely alone in a room. You can share the room. I mean, most parents, we suggest 6 months so that way you can hear and get used to the newborn. But it is imperative that you do not sleep with this baby. We make sure we do not do this in the hospital. If it is something that we notice, we will re-educate. And also, if you read your consents that you're signing in the hospital, most of them include this. Most of them include this education, and that you agree to not sleep with the infant. So you have to think, like, hospitals are going to protect themselves to make sure that they provide the education, so that in the event something were to happen, you fill in the blank, okay? I do not want to, you know, scare anyone, but it is a reality. Like, just like you sign, you know, any contract, there's always fine print. Read the fine print, because it's in there. I promise it's in there. Another thing you can do to intervene or lower the risk of SUID is place infants to sleep on their back. The reason we do this is so that they do not turn their head and get stuck in the mattress like this, okay? Believe it or not, these babies, 1 day old, an hour old, can turn their head if they really want to. The problem is sometimes they get stuck and they're not able to free their airway, and we're not aware that this is happening. So that's why we prefer for them to sleep on their back. I know what you're thinking. Oh, what if my baby spits up? My baby has acid reflux. I get that too. Well, if that is happening, one, you should be sitting up with your newborn 30 minutes after a feed to ensure that the food is properly digested. Acid reflux is very common in newborns, just because they do not have a well-controlled esophagus. And so the epiglottis that we have, where we can continue to keep food down, they do not have that well developed yet. This is connected to the sleeping on their back. Do not prop a baby up with a bottle in their mouth. Babies cannot feed themselves. They don't feed themselves. Do not prop up a blanket to their chin to hold the bottle so that they can feed. They will choke. 9 times out of 10, they will choke. At some point, that bottle is passively dripping milk into their mouth. Another thing that we do not want, they should not sleep in the crib with their bottle also. The third thing you can do to lower the risk of SUID is keep a clean crib or sleeping environment. There should not be, like I said, bottles. There should not be blankets. There should not be toys. There should not be pacifiers. There should be empty crib, because if the infant gets stuck on one of these items, that then blocks their airway. These are just basic things that you can do, that you can start early on, so that you're not training the infant to need them forever to go to sleep, to self-soothe. If they need a blanket, swaddle them. Wrap them in a blanket, that's fine, and lay them on their back, but do not have a big throw pillow over top of the newborn and tuck it under and think that the newborn cannot suffocate. Sometimes they can kind of get stuck like this, and sometimes they can get stuck like this, and then their airway is blocked. Sometimes I see the real nice, pretty, fluffy blankets in the crib. Babes, not where they're sleeping. When you're with them, sure. When you're able to visually watch them, sure. But when they're sleeping, that's a no. That's a no. Only tight fitted sheets in the crib. If you need more warmth or heat for this infant, dress them appropriately. Put on a onesie, put on a shirt, put on pants, put on socks, and then swaddle them. But there is no need to have a blanket. We can avoid that step. Last but not least, substances. Avoid all adult substances. That includes smoking. So just because you're the one smoking, the infant is passively getting smoke inhalation also. And that includes marijuana, THC, that includes cigarettes, that includes vaping. You know, avoid other illegal substances. You know, I'm not going down the list of those, but that also lowers your risk of attentiveness to the newborn. If something were to happen, you are not as alert or aware to hear those signs and cues. These are 4 things you can do to lower the risk of SUID. If you have questions, if you disagree, I'm not going to say that, you know, people cannot have an opposing opinion. This is fair game, okay? I'm just providing education, and I would like to inform someone that is not aware of this topic. But yeah, if you disagree, leave a comment. Let's have a dialogue. Let's talk. But remember, we will respect each other. Let's make sure we do that. This is your maternal and newborn education with your girl, Jazz. I'll talk to you later. Bye.